Hi, I'm Laurie Lawrence, the CEO of Stay Lake Norman, and wanted to introduce Joey Davis and his daughter Madison to you today. Joey's been working with us at Stay Lake Norman for about 10 years now, working with our investors in real estate. But we noticed a lot of people staying in our homes weren't necessarily investors looking to get into a vacation rental. A lot of them were hoping to retire here in a year, 2 or 3, and were interested in real estate. So what we've done is we've actually brought Joey and Madison in-house now and offering a full real estate service, not just investors, but for people wanting to buy, people wanting to relocate, and people wanting to sell. So I'm going to have a chat to Joey, and he can explain a little bit about his long career in real estate. So, Joey, I think you've been going 20 years now?
20 years. Started in 2004.
And completely stress-free industry, real estate, isn't it, Joey?
Completely.
And Joey, you say you've been working with our investors for a long time, but you've been a general real estate agent, working with buyers, working with sellers. And how long, Madison? You joined your dad, Joey, what, 2 years ago now?
I actually got my license in February.
Okay.
This year.
So you're helping Dad with all the paperwork and all the stuff he doesn't want to do?
The behind the scenes stuff.
That's the important stuff, isn't it? Absolutely important. So, Joey, tell us a little bit about your career in real estate and what you like and what you specialize in and the type of properties that you've sold and represented.
So we've always been lake people, and we were looking at the paper one Sunday morning or Saturday morning, I can't remember, my wife was, and she said, "Here's a house for sale on Lake Norman." And we came and looked at it and bought it.
Wow.
So the rest is history. That was in 95. I was working for U.S. Airways and formerly, or before that, Piedmont Airlines.
Okay.
Then I'd had 20 years with them, and we had to make a change because 9/11 came along, and I had 20 years of service, and I was working night shift and weekends. And a buddy of mine got his real estate license, and we were chatting around, and he told me I ought to do it, and I did it, and kind of the rest is history.
Wow.
I wish I'd have done it 20 years before that.
So how old were you when you first started in real estate?
20 years ago, so I was 38 years old.
Because a lot of people in real estate on this lake have been here 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. What I love about you is you know everybody. You were here when this lake was just developing. You were here. Every time I talk about a property, you either know the sister or the cousin or the auntie or someone who used to own that property or lived next door. Your history on the growth and the backstory of this lake is just unbelievable.
You know, back before I became a realtor for several years, we spent every weekend out there and half the week, day and night. So you could probably put me anywhere on the lake in the middle of the night and I could tell you where I was.
So day and night you were on that boat out there on that lake?
I never even learned the markers. I don't even know what they are. I don't need them.
Nice. But it's amazing to me that whenever I bring up any property, you know the property or you know who owned the property or the relative of someone who owned that property. I mean, your knowledge on this lake is just second to none. And that's one of the great assets of having you on board. You've been working for over 20 years. You've sold thousands of houses. You know this lake. And this lake, I mean, explain to the people, you can't just come here and buy on this lake. There's shallows, there's bridges, there's so many pitfalls, there's so many potential challenges. Talk about some of the challenges about buying a property on this lake.
Well, you know, water depth is very important if you're going to have, depending on what kind of boat you're going to have. And the bridges, there's several small bridges where they only have clearance of around 5.5, 6 feet. So if you got a big boat, you can't have access to the full, main part of the lake.
And we see all the time too, people come in and they buy a property and then they decide they want to put a pool in and they can't. Talk to people about septic and setbacks and all of these complications where you've got to be so careful.
We got setbacks, and most of the older properties, they put the septic system right behind the house where the pool would go today if you were, starting from scratch. And a lot of them will not accommodate a pool. But typically, if I can see a septic permit and a survey, we can determine, whether you can or can't have a pool. We can also move a septic system if you have enough room, space to do it.
Yeah, because it's an incredibly complicated soil scientist scenario, isn't it? Where the ability to do something or change something is, you've got a lot of people, a lot of soil scientists, a lot of people in your back pocket that you've been working with for a long time. So
Right.
if we can change this, if we can move this, but we don't want people to go out buying a property and getting with an agent who doesn't have the experience that you have, and wanting to do something that's just impossible. So it's the secret on this lake, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah, it is. A lot of people make mistakes.
So Madison's been on with you, helping you out for a couple of years now, and tell us a little bit about why you wanted to get in with your dad and help him in this crazy world of real estate brokerage.
Well, when I was little, I remember seeing him work at the airport and coming home late, and I saw the changes that he made for our family and how hard he worked and how successful he's been, and it has meant the world to me to see him do so well for our family, and
Oh,
I've
wow.
always wanted to work with him.
Madison used to go out to the just about every time to put signs in the yard, measure, take pictures. Back in the day when she was little, when she was 5 or 6, she started going with me.
So Madison, obviously you're a little younger than his dad, which kind of goes without saying, and a lot of young people, they leave, they go to big cities, they chase all around the country. You've obviously stayed here. What's your reasoning for staying in Lake Norman?
Well, I'd say one of the biggest reasons is family means so much to me, but also I've seen the area change so much even in my lifetime. Mooresville was ranked one of the fastest growing towns in the country, I believe, in the past 4 years. And there's just so many different dynamics of where we live. The south end of the lake, you get that city vibe, everybody's there, or you can go up to the north end of the lake towards like Troutman or Statesville, and it's more rural, so you can kind of get the best of both worlds.
Okay, so a lot of people moving here are looking at retiring, but we are getting a lot of families moving here as well with young children. What can they do here? Is this a good life for mum and dad and 3 kids?
I couldn't have asked to be raised any better, and my dad said earlier we were raised on the lake. We were up sun up to sundown, out there playing. We learned to ski, food tube, and I don't think there's any better way to grow up than on the lake Florida.
So the call of the bright lights of the big city just wasn't calling you. Huh? This is your town, and you're going to be staying here and for a long time yet.
I would say so. It'd take a lot to get me to move.
Nice. I mean, we've noticed a huge difference over 20 years where the regulations are a lot more and they're a lot more policed than they used to be. I mean, back in the old days, it was the Wild West here, wasn't it, Joey? When you started, somebody says, "Oh, I want to put a dock in," and they go, "Just do what you want, just get it done." It's a little bit different now, isn't it?
It's usually the neighbor that polices it, so you get turned in by them. It's not Duke, and then once you get turned in, it's all on them. Duke's gonna give you a call or send you a letter or knock on your door.
I mean, we've seen some horror stories over the years, haven't we, with people when buying properties with docks that are illegal, or the docks have to be modified.
Or if you buy a lot and it won't even accommodate them, or it's environmentally protected, and you can't even have a dock. Then
you're in a lot of trouble, I know, if that
you're in
happens.
a lot of trouble.
I mean, you don't just sell waterfront properties and lakefront properties. You sell all sorts of community properties, HOA properties. You've got a lot of experience all the way through the different types.
Even large tracts of land. I've done a few commercial deals, sold a few race shops, fire department.
'Cause there's a lot of race shops in this town.
There's a lot of race shops.
So a lot of our guests that have stayed with us numerous times, a lot of them love the area. They've been here 2 or 3 times. They love the idea. They're 3, 4, 5 years away from retirement, and relocation is something you've spent a lot of time with other companies that you've worked with on real estate as well. Correct.
Right. Correct. My focus though is waterfront. It's the most fun. Look behind me. This is a good office right here. That's the way it is.
It's not a bad little day today
No,
to be doing a
beautiful.
video. But I've been working with Joey now for over 10 years, and I've never met an agent on this lake that knows this lake and its positives and negatives and pitfalls like this man here. So Joey, Madison, we are so excited to formally welcome you on board at Stay Lake Norman and have you in-house instead of a third party. And if you're looking at moving here, whether you're looking to retire, whether you're looking to relocate your family, whether you want a waterfront, whether you want a community, we are able to give you the best agents that you're going to be able to find at Stay Lake Norman. So we look forward to meeting you and talking to you when you decide Lake Norman is your new home.